For a little over £1,000 in running costs, the undersoil heating has produced a perfect pitch to guarantee that this cup tie takes place despite the Arctic conditions, and that will certainly be a benefit to Everton, who are on a good run of results. Their team today remaining unchanged since the second half of the cup tie against Stockport, when they came from one down to win, and then they won again away at Arsenal last weekend. And Graham Stewart finds himself currently Everton's top goal scorer with 11. Port Vale became the first team to take a point off the Division 1 leaders Derby in 3 months, when they drew 1-1 last Saturday, and they've got a lot of FA Cup experience in the side. Number 4, Ray Walker, scored the winner for Port Vale when they put Spurs out of the cup in this 4th round 8 years ago, and number 6, Neil Aspin, played in 17 FA Cup ties for Leeds, including a semi-final. Referee Mike Reid of Birmingham just trying to keep himself warm. And Everton had a real scare in the last round of the cup when they twice led here at home against Stockport County. Finally were held to a 2-2 draw and only went through after that dramatic replay victory. There's a growing belief around Goodison Park that they may be on their way for another good cup run. The team has certainly had some good results of late, unbeaten in the last 7 matches in which they've scored 17 goals. Dave Watson, the captain, man of the match at Wembley. McCarthy, who was dispossessed. Well, it's number 4, Ray Walker, who's placed it, but certainly looks beyond the sort of distance from which he might fancy a crack at Neville Southall. Just punts it in instead. That's well redirected, but they've got a corner, Port Vale, and there must have been a second touch after his glancing header off Watson. Farrell taking up a position right alongside Neville Southall. They cut it short to McCarthy. Now back to Guppy. Walker. Oh, he's done well here. McCarthy, and again McCarthy! It hit the defender on the line. I think that was John Ebbrell, and it would have been in, and I'm not sure Ebbrell really knew about it. It just seemed to strike him. Barry Horn, Ebbrell, and here's Ablett. And now Amakachi. And Watson's facing his own goal, will surely decide to give it back to Neville Southall. But that's a scare for Everton, and that look all ends up a goal for Port Vale. A nice little turn there, first of all, by McCarthy. Then he nicked it over Watson, and it just seemed to hit Ebbrell, who was covering the goal line. Oh, it was a poor ball by Andy Porter, and now Port Vale could well pay the price. Kanchelskis on the inside, his left foot. But you've seen him do that so often, drifting in from a wide position. Seems to be going nowhere sometimes across the face of goal, and suddenly the swivel and the strike. Russell White was grateful that it came straight to him. Stewart helps him on. Ferguson, nice little touch. Amakachi skips away from Walker. Kanchelskis. Amakachi's touch has given it him back. They're in a good position here, but he chose to knock it to the back post, and the 3 Everton players have all come to meet him at the near. Took the wrong option. That's short again. Here's Ferguson, surely now. Well, it's a comedy of errors at the moment. Andy Hill with a back pass that always looked to be short. Duncan Ferguson ready to gobble it up, but he hit it in a hurry, Surely you have to go down as the clearest chance so far. Kinchelskas into Ferguson. Ebro. Here's Ferguson. Barry Horn. Everton hunting for the ball with relish. That's a poor kick now by Southall. They're all at it. Here's McCarthy. Cannoned off the defender, it's a corner. He hit it very crisply. Former Southampton apprentice who did make 14 appearances for the South Coast club. But both defences guilty at the moment of providing chances on a platter for the opposition. Guppy. That was nicked off him in the goal kick. Joe Royal now down on the bench to get a closer look at the action. Never looks as if he's enjoying it. Walker. There's Tampa. Musselwhite. McCarthy. He's got the beating of Ablett, and he's got time to get right to the penalty area and have a good long look. It's here! Oh! His touch let him down at the crucial moment. He struck the ball previously as crisply as you would like, but then when McCarthy delivered right across the 6-yard box, it's just a tap in, isn't it? And somehow Martin Foyle has missed an absolutely open goal. Well, it was on his left foot. Memory serves me right, the earlier strikes have been with his right foot. And Chelskis, here's Emma-Capture. Caught up on his shoulder. The linesman has signalled corner. We've got Ferguson, we've got Craig Short up as well. There's no shortage of fighting in Everton's attack here. Graham Stewart. Watson underneath. Well won. Oh, good save. Amakatchi. Everton are relieved to take the lead. It was a fine save, one-handed from Musselwhite from the initial header. But as the ball drops, Amakatchi was first to it. Watson won it. Quite a lot of power in the header, and really before the keeper could get back to his feet, Amakatchi was onto it. Everton, one suspects, to their considerable relief, ahead by that goal from Amakatchi, his 5th of the season. Well, I wonder how Martin Foyle feels at this moment, the Port Vale number 9. Naylor to run at Watson and go outside him. Still Naylor off the heels of the defender. They'll have a corner. And Ray Walker has placed it. Easily covered by Gary Ablett. Around two players. Martin Foyle, who should have scored, Amakatchi did. The better chance appeared to be that which fell to the Port Vale player, but side-footing it well wide of a gaping goal, and McCatchy reacting quickly when the ball was knocked up by Musselwhite, beating the defenders to it to score quite comfortably. Everton start the second half, so far so good, in a cup campaign that so far hasn't pitted them against substantial opposition, but when you consider the teams that they beat to win the trophy last season, Newcastle, Tottenham and Man United, one after another. And Port Vale have made a change at half-time. Andy Hill has been replaced by Ian Bogie, number 14, in a midfield position. And it looks as though Porter has dropped to right back to replace Andy Hill. Stewart. Kanchelskis gets it back to him well. There's Parkinson. Just out of Guppy, so Everton have a corner. Oh, it was a header by Griffiths. And McCatchy, they hit the post twice and off the line. Somehow Vale survived. Or did they? And McCatchy off his shins, right into the keeper, and Everton looked bewildered. Oh, how did the goal survive? Ferguson swivels to hit the ball first time, off the post, and McCatchy onto it, back off the post, then Ablett. And with the goalkeeper beaten, Tankard clearing it off the line. There's Bogie, Walker, McCarthy. Not been quite the influential figure so far in this second half, John McCarthy, that he was in the first. Everton just tightening the marking on him. Oh, he slipped Stewart beautifully. Naylor! Well, it was a fine attack, and it was a nice bit of skill again by John McCarthy. He left Graham Stewart for dead. A little drop of the shoulder and he was away. Long look, picked out Naylor, who under pressure from Watson glanced it high and wide. But they're continuing to make chances, and Everton's still only leading by that one goal. Just took the back of Naylor. Foyle! Yes! At last! It's 1-1, and Martin Foyle makes amends for the first half miss. But again, you have to admire the build-up play. The ball by Guppy, and the way in which Tony Naylor knocked it in with the outside of his right foot from a left winger's position. Foyle scores his 6th goal of the season. And yet again, in an FA Cup tie at Goodison against lower league opposition, Everton, having taken the lead, have been pegged back. Foyle played his football with Southampton, where he began as an apprentice, then later Aldershot and Oxford United, before his move to Port Vale. Looks like Anders Limpar has taken off the tracksuit shortly to join the action. Everton make a double substitution in response to the equaliser. Ablett and Amakachi go off, and on come Anders Limpar and Andy Hinchcliffe. Well, in Hinchcliffe and Limpar, Everton have now got two wide players down that left side who can knock in very good crosses. Maybe they won't need it. Here's Ebrel, the hero against Stockport, with that sensational goal in the replay that secured the 3-2 win. But But he dragged that across goal. Just for a moment it looked as though Musselwhite might have touched it. Just making sure it went all the way to Southall. Bogey with it. McCarthy. Again, those quick feet, but Horn was snapping at him. Here's Ferguson. He's peeled off very well to the left. Ebrel. It's going to go in. It's not. It's off the line. A super clearance. Horn shot, and they've survived again. Well, there was a clearance there, which I think was by Alan Tankard, the left back. Off the heels to Ebrel, whose shot was saved. Kanchelski's just about to run it in. Somehow Tankard hooked it out. Porter was pushed. Andy Hinchley. Everton in a hurry to get the ball back into play. Trotteridge wants everybody back to defend. Let's not surrender what we have. And that's a 1-1 draw at the moment. Limpar. Oh, he's dropped it! Ferguson puts it in. And, well, your heart goes out to the goalkeeper, Paul Musselwhite. He just looked a tiny bit casual. He wasn't under pressure from Ferguson, but he never had the ball in his grasp. At full stretch, dropped it right to the feet of Ferguson. And you wonder if Everton's FA Cup run this season is somehow blessed. A sensational winner from John Ebrel in that replay against Stockport, immediately after Stockport had made it 2-2. And now a goal that puts him ahead 2-1, and we're counting the game down into seconds. But poor Paul Musselwhite, former Portsmouth and Scunthorpe player, with a real howler. Limpar was hustled over, free kick. John Rudge knew the urgency of the situation, didn't he, when he was waving players back? He wanted everybody back to defend in what remained of the match when his side were at 1-1, but even he couldn't have anticipated that his keeper would drop one like that. We're now into the last 60 seconds. It's a goal kick. It would take something really heroic from Port Vale now to get themselves back in this. They just haven't got any leeway. There's only time for an attack or two. But maybe Guppy can deliver the perfect cross. Here's Bogey. So it was deflected. Oh, Bogey! It's 2-2. Well, what a turnaround again. Bogey controlled it, he steadied himself, he hit it well, but it took a wicked deflection. Southall was isolated, the ball was over his head, and Port Vale supporters were on their feet. Nobody quicker than the manager. Well, who'd be a manager? Heart-stopping incidents. The great prize on the point of being snatched away from Port Vale, and suddenly the substitute Ian Bogey, who used to be an apprentice at Newcastle, for whom he made almost 24 appearances, scores only his second goal of the season. And once again, Everton have led against lower league opposition in a cup tie at Goodison, and they've been pulled back to a 2-2 draw, and it's another replay. Well, last season in the competition, Everton were really imperious. 6 straight wins, no replays to reach Wembley, where they beat Manchester United 1-0 to lift the trophy. This season, it's replays all the way so far. They did the business against Stockport last time, and they're going to have to do it again against Port Vale. And maybe this will prove just a tougher nut to crack. And who can be more relieved than Musselwhite? Dreading the moments in the dressing room, having conceded the match to the opposition with his mistake, and Bogey got him out of jail.
There was only time on the clock basically for one more attack, and when that ball came out of the penalty area to your feet, what went through your mind?
I think I see it came from the left hand side. I'm not quite sure that it bobbled up and I just struck the ball. Neville would have probably held his cap on it, it hadn't taken the deflection, and I'm not sure who it hit on the back.
Or John Ebber, I think.
John Ebber, yeah, it hit him on the back and just looked over Neville's head, and it's in the back of the net. That's what counts.
Yeah. But you're claiming it?
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
In fact, that's your first FA Cup goal, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, you could be right there, yeah.
Paul, you especially will be delighted at the result.
Yeah, I was happy to see the equaliser go in, having just conceded that goal, which was like a big letdown for myself and the team.
How did it happen?
It was just hung up. I thought he had hold of it, and then like dropped it, and Duncan Ferguson was there, and he's just knocked it straight in.
Because as the cross came over from Limpar, you weren't really under pressure, were you?
No, they didn't even come in and challenge me, Duncan Ferguson. So as far as I'm concerned, it was an easy catch, but don't know, maybe took my eye off it, whatever.
What were your feelings at that moment?
I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. Then it was, you know, your biggest fear, a mistake like that.
And Ian Bogey got you out of jail.
Yeah, it was a great strike. I think it got a bit of a deflection, but it was a great strike. It was in all the way, I was just behind it.
We probably dominated the second half, more through endeavour than any great design, but we still should have won it. But having said that, they deserve their second bite at it.
Yeah, I mean, do you have words of credit for Port Vale? Because, I mean, they did play extremely well.
They played very well. First half, they could have scored 2 or 3. We were fortunate to be in front. So the game went a topsy-turvy way, really. We were in front when we shouldn't have been. And having said that, we should have won the game second half, but didn't. So, typical cup tie, really.
What does a replay mean to you?
Well, it means obviously a chance to play Everton at home, and obviously the financial side of it will be very good. The chairman will be very happy. Money's a little bit tight, you know, we can't really go wait for matches the day before, but obviously we perhaps might be able to do that now.
Everton's undersoil heating on an Arctic day has served up a good playing surface here. What are you going to offer them for the replay?
Oh, well, I mean, on previous cup ties, which the television's been there against the Tottenhams and the Southamptons, it's been flooded. I just left to have a word of the fire brigade.
Of all the goal scorers in all the world, it had to be Bogey to get him out of jail there. What did you make of Port Vale today then, Trevor?
Well, I mean, the game was wonderful entertainment. I'm delighted for John Rudds, the Vale manager, because he's been there a long time. They've always tried to play the right way, pass the ball, and of course it relies on a lot of good movement. Up front, I thought Foyle and Naylor pulled Everton all over the place, the two strikers. Guppy did well down the left, because they haven't got a sort of obvious right back at the moment, Everton, with problems. But I thought the right winger, particular John McCarthy, I mean, he was a handful, particularly the first 45 minutes. But the four of them just chased Everton, and I mean, he's nothing of this little lad. Here he gets a ball from Ray Walker, who's overhit, but he spins quickly. Now most people would shoot now, flicks it over Dave Watson and just hits the back of the leg of John Ebrell, and that was in the first 5 minutes. That set the tone for every opportunity. They just scampered down the flanks, and here again Gary Ebrell a bit exposed pace-wise, and McCarthy cuts in, has a look across, and there's 2 or 3 options in there, and poor Martin Foyle won't thank me for just showing that, although because he did get the equaliser early in the second half. Here again, as the ball's come down the line, watch him let it through his legs, wrong foot, Graham Stewart, and again, although he's a little lad, Tony Naylor took up some good positions, just got underneath that header, but I mean, forever, any opportunity, they'd surge forwards in number. I think they deserved it, as you say, Mr. Bogey then.
Yeah. You think the Everton defence isn't quite up to the mark at the moment then, Alan?
No, I think last year they won the cup. Everton defence was solid as a rock. This year they're very in and out. They lost 6 goals in 3 cup ties, and really it could have been 10, 12 quite easily. I don't think the balance is there. You know, they're playing without a recognised right back, and it's easy to point the finger at the back four, but I don't think the 2 in front playing as well as they did last season as well. Last year it was Parkinson and Horn. This year it's Horn and Ebrell. I mean, obviously they're still in it, but it's going to be very, very tough. They've got to tighten up defensively if they're going to, you know, progress in the competition.
Thank you. Well, now it's a Premiership.